What's up, you guys? I'm Torres from Cinco Studio, and welcome to another episode of Last Week Today in Search Engines. And today, as always, I have prepared you 4 biggest news in my world, in my opinion, that happened in the search engines in the last 7 days. And also at the end, I will also share a search engine tip that I think could be useful for you guys. In each episode, I try to improve just a little bit. So in this one, I figured that it would be really useful for you guys to actually see the links to the sources of all of this information that I talk about. So in the first comment below, I will basically include the summary of all the links, all the things that I talk about for you to read about a little bit more. So I hope you will enjoy it, it will be useful. So the news number 1 is a bunch of algorithm updates in Google. So if you have noticed that your traffic has been very volatile, ups and downs in the last couple of weeks, there are unconfirmed bigger Google algorithm updates happen in the last 2 weeks or so, on June 4th and potentially on June 18th as well. The thing is that Google says that they update their algorithm sometimes even on a daily basis. They say 10, 100, maybe could be even 100 times per year, and then roughly 3-4 times a year they release what they call major core updates. That's basically then means it affects a bigger part of the business, or perhaps the algorithm change is just something bigger, right? Because normally they do these fine tunes here and there. But we had the last major algorithm updates on May 4th. And since May 4th, it seems like each week there were still some few bigger changes happening, because since basically beginning of May, a lot of bigger websites, those that receive, tens of thousands, 100,000 visitors a month, they definitely have seen their traffic being very volatile and been just going up and down of each bigger algorithm update. My own websites have also suffered and then recovered and then suffered again, and some of them are now like 50% up in the last couple of days. So it's been fun checking what's working and what's not. But in case your website's traffic has been going up and down, it's because Google been releasing algorithm updates in the last couple of weeks again. Now, the second news of the week is that if you are a Google Ads user and you are what Google thinks is small to medium-sized business, and you have been spending money on Google Ads at least 10 out of 12 months in 2019, and also in January and February in 2020, you are potentially entitled to the Google Ads credits due to COVID-19. That's the Google's ways of saying we support you. We're going to give you some free products, basically free advertising for you. There's nothing you can basically do to acquire them. There's nothing to apply. There's no buttons to press. You should simply log into your Google Ads account, or see in your Google Ads Manager emails. Perhaps you have received an email with notification that a certain amount of credits has been applied to your account. And the amount of those credits I've seen floating around, they're actually not that small, or normal Google Ad credit is usually between $75 and $150 or francs or euros. This one is I've seen between $250 and $750 being applied to somebody's account. So that's basically free cash to advertise on Google Ads due to COVID-19. So if you have received it, congrats. If you haven't, it might be that you still will. And if not, if you don't receive it in the next couple of weeks, that means somehow Google didn't think that you're worthy. All right, next thing that I found quite fascinating, that Google announced that they will now add labels to the images in Google image search, basically that saying that this has been fact-checked image, right? Because there's a lot of fake news, or let's say edited truth happening on the internet nowadays, and especially on images as well, right? It's so easy to manipulate graphic information as well as text or video. So there are a lot of images that, for example, the example they use is that there has been some floods in US, and they've seen a shark flowing around in some big streets in US, and that has been photoshopped, although a lot of major outlets have actually didn't do the fact check, and they retweeted or wrote articles about that, saying like, look, big whale sharks have been seen in Boston streets or something like that, whereas that image was fake. And then there are some websites that check whether the images are basically correct or not, and Google will use those authorities who check whether information is true or not, and they will add a fact-checked label in an image search next to the image. If you click on the image and it shows a little bit more information on the right side, you should be able to see that. So that will help you to basically judge and understand whether the image is fake or true. So I think that's really useful, whenever trying to use that image for whatever information you want to create or talk about. All right, and the final exciting thing that has been announced in the last 7 days is that Google giving away free advertisement on Google Maps for local businesses. So basically, Google is trying to help, once again, local businesses that are opening up after the lockdown, and a lot of those local businesses have Google My Business profiles, right? So those little restaurant pins or bar pins or whatever office or company pins, hardware store that you can see on Google Maps. So Google is now giving away free promoted pins. So there's basically a way for you to pop out in a Google Maps more visibly for the clients and provide even more information for people who are searching on Google Maps. So I think that's valid until end of September this year. But basically, if you're using smart campaigns through your Google My Business profile, you are eligible to basically free advertising on Google Maps until end of September if you have also a local business. So I think that's amazing. So for all of you guys that have Google My Business profiles and have very localized business like a restaurant or hairstyling or salon or auto dealership or something like that, that's free advertising option for you. All right, so that's it for news. And as mentioned, I always include a tip of the week. And today's tip of the week is basically ask for reviews. So if your business has profiles on platforms like Google or Apple Maps or perhaps Yelp or TripAdvisor or any other place that your business can be reviewed, I really encourage your customers to leave reviews on those profiles, because the more reviews you have, actually the likelihood of you going higher in the search results will increase. So that will help you your SEO and your rankings as well. I recommend you ask people to use perhaps specific words, not just write very good or I really like that or like recommended. That's already good. But if they would use words like if you own a garage, let's say, I have changed my tires in this garage for the last 10 years and I've really enjoyed it. It's a high quality service, right? So change the tires, and you can see that the garage is in Zurich, for example. So change tires in Zurich, that garage will already get a little bit higher ranking. So that's number one, ask for reviews and also make it easy for them. So perhaps give a link where it shows all of your profiles on one sheet. So people could, those who are really super fans of you could actually go to every single profile and leave the review. Or if there is a specific channel you want to push, you could say that, okay, in the next 2 months, I'm only going to ask for Google reviews. In the next 2 months, I'm going to ask only for TripAdvisor reviews and so on. So asking for reviews will help your business to be more visible and essentially more successful. All right, guys, so that's it in this episode of Last Week Today in Search Engines. I hope you found it useful, you learned something new, and you can use part of that information perhaps to grow your business. And as mentioned, I will leave all the information I have mentioned in today's episode in the comments or description below. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like or a comment or any other way, a sign of appreciation. That will be highly appreciated from me. And of course, if you ever need any kind of help in SEO or search engine marketing, you can reach me at torres@cincostudio.ch. Thank you very much. Have an amazing day or evening wherever you are. I love you and I see you next week.